Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Basil Rathbone inviting you to join me beyond the green door. Today's story is about Dr. James Neal, whose simple examination of a patient led him to a car accident near the doctor. He was in good spirits, apparently not in pain, and annoyed by his injury rather than upset. The bowling finals tonight. Well, you won't bowl for a while, the doctor. Just fix it up, will you, Doc? Dr. Neal's lips tightened, but he didn't answer. He knew that the badly mangled arm wouldn't be usable for months. Very carefully he examined it. And then he sat still, unable to believe what he had seen. Instead of veins, there were gold and copper wires running through the arm. There were platinum filaments in place of nerves. And instead of bone, the patient had a cleverly jointed steel rod. When the doctor looked with a magnifying glass, he saw a flexible plastic instead of skin. Then Dr. Neal knew that this human-looking creature was a robot rather than a man. "Look, I'm in a rush," the patient said. "I've got all the spare parts of my repair kit, so please just splice them in for me, will you?" Like a man moving through a nightmare, Dr. Neal took the repair kit. His skilled fingers had no difficulty tying in the new wires, and his control was superb as he patched the plastic skin. He knew that he had to finish the job and then tell the authorities about this horror walking in their midst. His final and strangest task was to adjust the patient's health recovery box. This was a small set of dials in the robot's back, and the doctor turned them gently until the patient felt that his proper tone had been restored. Then he thanked the doctor, flexed his arm, which was now as good as new, and left the office. Alone, Dr. Neal tried to pick up the telephone and found that all his strength and willpower had left him. It had been too much facing that hideous mechanical thing. He had to tell the authorities, but instead he fainted across the desk. Outside in the doctor's anteroom, the nurse was making out the patient's bill. The patient seemed ill at ease. Finally he said, "That's a very strange doctor in there. He kept on staring at me. Is he crazy or something?" "Certainly not," the nurse replied indignantly. "He's a brilliant research scientist. But he never got used to the change after the last war. It affected his memory, and sometimes he forgets all about people like you. Then, when he treats one, it's a real shock for the poor old man." "Well," the patient said, "I always knew that humans were nervous about robots, but am I really that bad?" "Oh, don't be silly," the nurse said. Coyly she lowered her eyes, a trick she had learned in charm school. She lowered them until they touched the desk, and then she snapped them back into place with a bright metallic click.